There was some cut off metal down in there, and I ended up taking one more cut on both of them to narrow it down. They're both about a little below 6 inches, but that same spot, the blade dove and ruined again. So it is what it is, rough sawn job. It's not super fancy, but I'll give the client the option to buy new beams if he wants, instead of salvaging these. Zoom in on that a little bit. Kind of see it right there. All right. Oh God, that one's heavy. 33.2 plus. We have a beam and the post here. I measured all the brackets and I measured the top of the ledger up here. And to grade, it was from the laser line, it was 141 1/4 from the top to there. And from all the different seats, the first two were at this end. That was the far end. So we've got a 12.5-inch beam, and then we have a rafter sitting on it. We'll come down at 612. We have a rafter, and we're going to make this stand right here, vertical height from the top of the rafter to the beam at 7 1/2, and a 12.5-inch beam. That would be 19, 20 inches that we will take out. And then we also have the drop. And so our span from the face of that ledger to the face of the beam was 143. I'm going to add a quarter because the beam's a little wider, 143 1/4. So we'll go 143.25, and we're going to divide that into feet. So we'll divide it by 12 equals, and we'll multiply that times 6, which is our pitch. So we're going to go up 6 for every 12 inches in, times 6. Now that will rise from that point 71, or drop 71 1/4, 71 5/8. So now we're taking out 71 5/8, and we're taking out 20. So we got 91 5/8. So 20, 91 5/8 is what we're subtracting from those totals. So we'd have 141 point, back up, 0.25 plus 33.225 equals 174, and we'll go minus 91.625. We end up with a post of 82 7/8, and we'll go times 2, and then that one is a 1/2 inch shorter. We'll just do it so we don't make any mistakes. 141.25 plus 32.75 equals minus 91.625. So it'll be 82 3/8 times 1, and then it's actually 5/8 more. I'll just do it so we don't make mistakes. 141.25 plus 32.125 equals minus 91.625 equals 81 3/4 times 1. Okay, and those are our post lengths. Okay, that's what we'll cut these. I'm going to cut all the rafters today, and client's going to get some stain. We're going to pre-stain everything before we put it up, paint the plywood, whatnot. So today is just cut and prep. I'll mark the posts on the top somehow so that I know which order they go in. Okay, we're gonna do a little more math here, framer math. We had a span, horizontal span of 143 1/4, 2/8, from the wall to the face of the beam. We got a 6 and 12, 12, 6. So we need to figure a rafter. This is how I do it. I know I use a factor method, and the factor for a 6 and 12 is 1.118. I'll show you how you get that. So we take 12 squared is 144, 6 squared is 36. So we have 144 plus 36, 180, and we get the square root of that equals 13.416 inches here. And then we're going to convert that into inches or feet. We'll convert it into feet. We'll divide that by 12. I guess it would be into inches. Divide by 12. And that gives us 1.118. So from there, all your measurements in feet and inches, then multiply times that. So in this case, we have 143.25, 143.25 multiplied times 1.118 equals 160 and just a little over an eighth, 1/8 plus. So that's our rafter length. And then the tail, what we'll do is manually work the tail out so that 2 full sheets of plywood works plus a little bit of room. So that's how we'll do that. All right, that's it for the framing lumber. I've got to do 20 sheets, 22 sheets of plywood. I'm not running low on stain yet, but I'm not going to have enough to finish, so I'm probably going to do a sheet or two to estimate how much more it's going to take, just so I don't end up buying another fiber on it. All right, we got that done. I noticed I had some fish eyes going in maybe the top 10 or 15 sheets, top 10 or 12 sheets. So I went back and dry rolled them, took right care of it, and the bottom ones were fine. So I'm gonna get out of here now that's done. I don't have to worry. I had enough stain as well. Nice, we'll just brace it. Okay, project next is to get this building squared over onto the beam. It's run long at both ends because I'm going to carve those up later. Plus that, if you can see it, but the post is in from the end of the concrete, so we have no, not sure exactly where we're at with that up there. So we're going to get that squared in to the beam, and then our layout can work. Hang in there. Harassing the raven. All right, we're gonna put this roof on today. Got a couple little things to do to prep that, so I'll get rolled out and do that. For this, I'll pre-drill my metal just so everything goes on super clean. The local metal plant has a brake for bending trims that's 26 foot 2 long, and so most of the time you can get all your trims one piece, which is pretty sweet. Sometimes they can be too long, but it does make it nice for something like this, so you don't have to. This is, I don't know, 16 foot 2 or 16 foot 1, and I had them bend the gable metal at 16 foot 8, so I have some room for trim. Just makes it handy because you can still handle a length that long. Up under here, there was some short boards that I cut out because I ran the overhang past, and just, it's only about, I don't know, 12 inches up in there, and somebody was gonna have to crawl up here and put on individual boards and short bats and then a trim board at the top. And so what I did was I just had the metal supplier provide me a piece of end wall flashing that turns all the way up underneath there. So now it's got double paper coverage. I'm going to put the flashing on first. I'll space it 3/4 off the roof, or something like that, whatever the rib height is, plus a little of the metal, and then I can slide it up under there as I go, so I don't have to try to hold myself on the roof afterwards. All I'll have to do is walk along and screw it down and I'll be done. So I'll throw a rope over the top just in case. It's a 6 and 12, not super steep, but more than I want to mess around on or take a chance, so we'll see. All right, we're done with that other side. I know you can't see it from here, but I'm just putting that closure on from the end wall up to underneath the eaves, so he doesn't have to crawl up there and put on 50 1-foot or 14-inch board and bats. So this will wrap this up. It's probably going to take me, I don't know, half hour. So I got one piece on, and I got a couple little pipes in the way right now, and then it should be clear sailing. The roof's pretty sticky. There, it looks like there's moss or algae on it or something, maybe dust, but it's actually working out kind of sticky, so I can get up there. Alright, that is done with the exception of about an 80-inch piece up there. I'll just have the metal supplier make up one more little piece. Alright.